to be able to walk through the doors of Auckland Theatre Company and go, hey, I have an idea, I'd like to have a conversation. Even that is such a big change. And it has got a lot to do with, funny enough, I think the pandemic. I think the kind of forced consumption that we've kind of had to entertain ourselves, being stuck at home, you know, experimenting and looking at things that you wouldn't normally consume has kind of given people the impetus to kind of go, hey, actually, I can see and hear someone like me on screen, which is where we're mostly consuming stuff. So why can't I do that in other platforms? And so for me to be able to go 20 years ago, starting to bridge conversation about, hey, why can't we have, I don't know, an Indian classical music thing on a big stage that's made up of local musicians, as opposed to bringing musicians from wherever it is, to now going, making work like, we're making this show called Basmati Bitch. Sorry about swearing, but that's what it's called.
Can you say it louder? I mean, seriously, what's that?
It's called Basmati Bitch. Okay. It's the first time a South Asian migrant, first time playwright, young person is being commissioned to write New Zealand work. And it is about a full Pan-Asian cast, and it is cast locally in its entirety. It is not a migration story, it is not an identity crisis story, it's not anything story, it is just a great time. It's about...
Is that with ATC?
Yeah, it's with Auckland Theatre Cafe. Yeah, so, and that would have been completely impossible to even fathom pre-COVID. But that story and that writer and the kind of impetus to, and the willingness to kind of invest in that person is something that I've been able to kind of witness in my lifetime, which is amazing.
What's it been like in your experience, Danielle, as someone that practices within the youth arts sphere? How have you seen that change within your career?
I think that I came to New Zealand when I was 16, so I've been here for less than 10 years. And my experience as an arts practitioner hasn't been the longest journey ever, but the one thing that I have noticed in myself is this journey a lot of third culture kids and people my age have taken now, inspired by what they're seeing in the media, to understand their own cultural heritage. And that's the biggest thing I've witnessed alongside my own cultural journey, is the willingness in other people my age and to look into that and understand their own heritage and want to celebrate that.
I've been very blessed to have the opportunities that I've had, but I also had to create my own pathways because there was resistance, there was a lot of resistance. But I found one thing really interesting is that there was this Bengali artist, and back in, say even like 10 years ago, it was very hard to get your music listened to, whether it be radio or you know, any sort of media. Her songs were on Spotify, YouTube, and it was just like any other artist. And she was this Bengali artist that was only 19 years old, and I had no clue who she was or anything like that. She reached out to me and said, "Hey, would you want to play with me at this place called Big Fan?" And Big Fan's a studio that's put together by Joel Little, who is Lord's producer, and he did the big, the Royal song, produced that. And it was the first time in my lifetime that here in Aotearoa we had a Western venue filled with Bengalis, and it was amazing. But it only happened because we have so much more accessibility now, but we need to encourage people that it's possible now. I teach music and screen production at SAE, and I've got students that are super smart. In terms of like getting their music out there, there's this one student, a Samoan student. He's huge. I'm talking like millions of followers, millions of views. And he's studying at SAE. The only thing is that you could be as big as you want to be online, but the income is not there yet. But he's massive, and that there needs to be a bridge, some sort of discussion there as to how we bridge that, especially at a grassroots level. because he's a uni student that's making change, but it doesn't show in his bank account.
In a perfect world, I would be completely comfortable and understanding of my own cultural identity, and from that I would be able to make music, because that's my creative practice, that really resonates with me. But that's not the perfect world, and I feel like now, because I'm still on that journey to understanding and being okay with my cultural heritage, I feel like I have to create Chinese music or be a Chinese voice, because there isn't representation, because there are people that don't understand and want to understand, and because there are grants coming out only recently for Asian artists. Because I'm on that journey myself, and because society is on that journey, I feel like as BIPOC and minority, we have to make cultural music or cultural art. But I feel like maybe in a perfect world we wouldn't be doing that. We would just be making art, and we would be celebrated for that.
Just make a thing instead of tick a box.
Yeah.